We have a saying around here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no brains, no headache.
Well, hello, boys.
What's up? What's
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Episode 222, No Brains, No Headache podcast. Welcome to the show. I'm Jordan Weichel, and be your host today. Happy to be here. Damn glad to do it. As always, joined by my co-host, longtime friend, fellow comedian, and confidant. That's Matty Applesauce Cleary, as they call him. I call him Ongo. You can call him a sack of shit if you want. That'd be okay with me. And we got our old friend, Kyle Huber, joining the show. Welcome, my friend.
Thanks for having me on, boys. You know, I never thought I'd be doing a stand-up show with you guys someday, and we went to high school together, so this is...
I mean, if anyone from our high school was going to do it, it was probably be us three.
That does add up, and yes, 75% of the ticket tonight reigns from St. Mary's Central High School, and our stand-up will definitely reflect our Catholic views.
Yeah, we have three guys from a high school and then one guy from Iraq.
Where is he from?
I don't know, but his last name is Iran.
Maybe he's just a big flock of seagulls.
Yeah,
you know?
it could be.
Yeah, it's just...
How you been? So I haven't seen you guys a lot since high school. You still smoking K2, Weichel, or...?
No, I'm actually off that.
You're
now.
off that
Once I got
now.
off
That's
probation,
good.
I went back to the real stuff.
Yeah.
Only time I ever
was that-
smoked K2 in my life was in your bedroom.
Honored.
Wasn't that like the fucking 6 months where everyone just started accidentally smoking bath salts?
So I don't know about everyone, but yeah, that happened.
Yeah, it's...
I'm not going to say names, but we all have a mutual friend and a rather good football player we know whose tradition was the night before we'd have team dinner, they would get out of their mind stoned on fake drugs, play out of their mind the next day.
They played good, so it couldn't be Jordan.
Yeah. No, it was not me. This person played both ways and not just middle linebacker.
He banged
Hey,
girls
you were an honorable
and boys.
mention. You were all conference honorable mention.
Huber, the fact that you know that and you bring that up, that just brings a tear to my eye.
They put it up on the school sign, and I was pretty sure that Jordan was holding a handgun to the janitor. Like, if you change the sign, I'm going to fuck up your family.
Yeah.
Well, Dan was cool. You didn't need to get rough with Dan, you know?
I think he hated his job just enough to not care.
Honestly, I'm shocked they, like, my luck, I would get honorable mention and they'd put it on the marquee and spell my name wrong.
Yeah.
Like, God.
Jordan Weigel.
My name's Weichel, not
Yeah, well, Kyle, you're actually, like, literally the OG of people that I know that have done stand-up in North Dakota.
Yeah, I started Valentine's Day 2017 when I was 21, so once I was bar age, yeah.
Let's explore that a little bit.
Yeah.
Why Valentine's Day?
Were you
It was
alone?
just when I just, of course,
Trying to
it
get
was an
laid?
open mic, you know. I remember that first open mic was hosted by Michelle Pearson.
Michelle Obama.
Yeah, dude, have you ever seen Michelle Obama dancing on Ellen, by the way?
No.
You never saw
I
that?
should
Dude,
look
she's
this
wearing
up.
these white pants, just a fucking salami rolling around.
Well,
in her
yeah,
pants.
Michael
It was
Obama.
It's insane.
There's
That
a reason
clip
that
is
there's
nuts,
no pictures of Michelle Obama as a kid.
I never dug that deep into it, but yeah, just on Ellen, dude, just a fucking garden hose that she was dancing, dude. It was ridiculous. But
So you
yeah,
saying Barack just got pegged all the time?
Let's not go
it's
down
not
Brock.
pegging if it's a real dick. That's she, you know,
I think
that's just having anal sex.
Starting out hot. So I don't know how we got to...
There's a child 10 feet away, and I don't care because we're at Laughing
Yeah.
Sun Brewery, and that's why the background noise. You're probably wondering, as our viewers, listeners, checking us out on YouTube. That's it. We're at the brewery right now, amongst a dinner rush.
Ooh, fun fact for you. Last night, I had 4 to 5 IPAs and pooped my pants.
Yeah,
Nice.
Matt is like feels terrible today and had 5 IPAs.
Maybe. I think 4.
Well,
And-
it wouldn't be a true show day if we both didn't show up just feeling like a bag of dicks.
Yeah, I don't get it, though. I knew that I shouldn't have done it because it's been like 3 months since I shit my pants, so I was due.
Yeah.
And I just trusted a fart in bed and blew out my boxers, so...
Does it only happen drinking, or is there like
No,
a legitimate
it
poop in your
will-
pants problem?
It's a poop in the pants problem.
This may surprise you, but Matt's not exactly the example of a great dietary beneficiary, you know?
Yeah, very irregular.
What did I eat
Poor
today?
man's nachos, barbecue, IPAs, and then Tito's Sprite.
IPA here to slay. If I go to Stadium and I start ordering double Tito's Sprites,
Block the win.
yeah, go ahead and lock the exit.
Yeah, you guys just get hammered at Stadium with Woodmancy all the time?
He's there. Woody's
Yeah.
been on the pod.
Yeah, you joined in
On
an
the
elite
pod.
list of
Yeah.
guests on the show.
Yeah, Woodmancy's the shit, dude.
Yeah,
Love listening
he,
to him in Claremont, you know, call
Yeah.
the state basketball tournaments
Both those
every
guys
year.
have been on the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, so
But I'm a regular caller to the Jack Michael show, so I give my
doesn't
hot
surprise
takes on
me.
my
You're
day
also-
off. I got
the only listener of the Jack Michael show.
the only listener under the age of 75.
Yeah,
Do you get on often?
Yeah, about once a week.
What do you chat about?
A lot of UND football.
doesn't surprise
I mean, you know, Jack's the voice of the Sioux, so
Oh, yeah.
get a lot of that in. And just 1AA football in general. I
Yeah.
love talking FCS and the Lynx as well. So, did you guys watch Game 3 last night?
Yeah, they-
Ionescu's
I was gonna
last-
That was a deep three she
Holy
made.
shit! There's like 28 feet from downtown, dude.
Yeah.
That was and she barely stepped into it. Just a rainbow. I mean, it was
Yeah.
an incredible shot.
What sport are you talking about?
WNBA.
Oh.
The chick who made it looks like a more lesbian version of Caitlyn Clark.
Did you know that 58% of the WNBA is lesbian?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
okay. I mean,
I was shocked by that stat, but then more that I think about it, I'm not.
We should have a team called the Timbers, you know? Scissor me Timbers. Oh.
well, you know, Adrian Peterson is bisexual. Do you know that?
When does this come out?
No, my friend was telling me that they were at the Gay 90s one night in downtown Minneapolis.
Was this
and-
you at the gay 90s?
No, dude.
My friend was telling me Kyle has his rhinestone cowboy hat on.
I mean, I had about like Dempsey's and Fargo, who's about as busy as I'll go. It's not even the gay thing, just like anything in that area, Minneapolis, just too goddamn noisy. I'm not
Yeah,
going in.
I don't do well
but,
with loud noises.
But yeah, a friend of mine is at Gay 90s, and it was when the Adrian Peterson trade happened. It was after he had gotten, you know, suspended for beating his child near to death or whatever, and this guy was like, "Oh, I had sex with that guy." You know, my friend's like, "Who?" You know, thinking about talking like somebody in the club. And he's like, "Oh, that guy," pointing up the TV. Like Adrian Peterson. They're like, "Oh yeah, if that's his name." I mean, he got me a limo, took me to a really nice hotel, and just like fucked the shit out of me. You know, this like twink white dude.
Yeah,
so
that's
he's a
fun.
top. You know, Adrian Peterson.
There's a lot of things going through the
Yeah.
brain right now.
I was going to say, one time when I was in the 4th grade, I went to Packers training camp, and I asked every
also
black...
very gay.
Yeah, I asked
Yeah.
every black dude if they were Donald Driver.
Well, were they?
I never met him, but I did confuse a lot of people.
Are you
That's-
Donald Driver?
It's
like the-
crazy growing up in North Dakota. You know, you get outside the state and you realize that not every black guy is in the Air Force. You know?
Do you play for the Dakota Wizards?
Yeah, they're not in the military or in athletics. They're just normal.
Just regular guys.
Oh, there goes the black population when we lost our G League team.
That team was the shit, dude. I mean, the Civic Center would be sold out for playoff
I
games.
feel like going back to it, I'm like, it would be so cool if we had a G League team. But then, I think about it more, and I was like, I would go to like maybe a week's worth of games, and then I would just be like, well, that was fun, never going back.
they sold tickets when
Yeah,
they
I
were
mean,
here the whole time.
I mean, there were so many people that had like season tickets and stuff.
Well, and just sponsorships and
Yeah.
you get comp tickets, and they were cheap too.
yeah,
They
it was like
didn't-
$8
Yeah.
and go watch a basketball game.
Yeah, and the wizard mascot was like oddly like terrifying.
Biz the Wiz, Kevin Becker.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I
You're
thought it
not
was.
supposed to relay that information.
I thought it was-
like Santa Claus.
I thought it was Donkey.
That was after
that
Biz
was-
the Wiz retired.
He had
Yeah.
a bigger. The Biz the Wiz had this like Halloween costume mask. Like it was just an old man
So-
with a white beard, and it was actually terrifying. But you wanted to be a part of it because he was the Wiz.
It reminds me of the wizard from Blades of Glory when he's like doing this skit. He's like, everyone look, it's Gary the squirrel. He's just shit faced. That's so at the end of Donkey, was my friend. I'm not going to say his name for obvious reasons after this next sentence. He would just do a bunch of illicit drugs before every Wizards game and then just go run around as Donkey.
You kind of have to. It's like Lee Corso on College Game Day. They just dope him up so he can get on stage. Well, what do you think I'm doing before we go on stage tonight? A ton of heroin in the bathroom.
I still think we should have recorded this in the bathroom.
All right, everybody grab their microphone and a piece of equipment.
Bring one thing with you.
It would need to be like a punk crust bathroom, with stickers on the toilet seats and shit, and all in one stall. Well,
see, the thing is if you start the sticker thing, there's no end to it. You can't just have like one sticker.
Yeah.
Like our studio fridge had one sticker on it at one point. Yeah. Now it has no less than 2,000.
And now we're just layering over. It's like, okay, who do I not like anymore?
Which turns out is a ton of people because Jordan will just.
Dude, you are the one who holds grudges like I've never seen before. I
hold grudges on and wait, we didn't have a fucking Applebee's sticker on the fridge.
You ever thought about giving forgiveness a chance, Matt? Maybe it's on you for ordering Applebee's. What did you expect?
Applebee's sticker? Who gives a shit?
Eating good in the neighborhood for $5. The diarrhea is free.
Matt, you get diarrhea when you breathe.
Yeah. I love Josh Dulay's joke about going down on a girl at Applebee's. His whole punchline.
It's the most, most of the time,
that's apps. I love that line. Just getting some apps.
Most of the time, you'd be like, "Oh, that story's not true," and then you look at Josh, and you're like, "Yeah, it probably happened."
Dude, that was the most ridiculous podcast. I don't know if you tuned into that one when those Blaze and Josh.
It's an hour of absolute debauchery.
I don't really even say a whole lot, and that's fine. But it was. And the funny part is,
Josh, it's no way to live the way Josh does.
Well, and I was like communicating through Blaze for that whole day and that show, and I was like, you should ask Josh if he wants to come on the podcast. And I honestly did mean just Josh, and then Blaze was like, I'm excited to come on the show again. I'm like, yeah, we got 4 microphones apparently.
Yeah.
Had to dig deep for an extra one.
Yeah, I'd used the Tard Squad one.
The Lord Fart Squad microphone.
I started calling Jordan Lord Farquad this week.
It's not going
It's
well.
catching on. A lot of people started doing it.
Nobody besides Matt has called me Lord Farquad.
I remember Matt's phrase being short bus.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I used to just yell short.
You would use it as a verb. You'd be like, "Are you short bussing me?"
Dude, I love changing things into verbs. Or like just grabbing like a random name and just using it as like a Ron Burgundy, like Mitt Romney. I got hammered last night.
Yeah, I got applesauce.
Dude, I got just Randy. Oh yeah, someone used. I've been going by Matty Applesauce in the comedy scene, and someone used instead of saying
like the modern Jimmy Pineapple, Houston comic.
Someone instead of saying kill themselves said I'm gonna applesauce myself.
I could see that, the spatter on the wall.
I mean. Okay, let's talk about this. So the One Direction dude died, and he fell out of a 3rd-story window, and I was like, isn't that just called suicide?
Oh, man. He could light up the world like nobody else.
Come on.
That was One Direction, right?
I saw a clip. It was the Aim for the Bushes scene in The Other Guys, when they just jump like 20 stories.
Oh, The Rock and Jackson,
And it's like Liam Payne in Argentina.
Can't say I picked up on Liam Payne.
That's the guy who died. That's the name.
Yeah.
That's his name. The One Direction guy.
Oh, the One Direction guy.
He has a name?
Well,
It's
they
Liam
were...
Payne.
Was he the diabetic one? There's 3 of them.
You are asking the wrong crowd.
3 of them, and one's diabetic in One Direction, right?
Where's our producer right now?
Yeah,
I'm not looking it up.
Yeah, I don't care enough to even remotely dive into that.
So what was he doing around that window?
Killing himself?
Like 3rd story of a hotel?
Yeah, it's just like, whoops. I understand like missing.
I don't think I've been to a hotel where you can
open the window enough to actually jump out.
Yeah.
The first time in Vegas, I was trying to do that after losing quite a bit of money, and I realized the window didn't open that much, so I just threw all of the garbage
Because
we
a
had
lot
in
of
the room.
people have jumped off of a roof after losing their money in Vegas.
Yeah, or banging like 7 whores.
Yeah.
Same thing. But, well, we needed a window in Vegas that one time because our room smelled like death.
Yeah.
Like if you were to put your nose right in Matt's gooch after a jog, that's what the smell was. So we had to prop the door open with a chair.
In hindsight, I really should have just gotten my own room.
That would have been nice.
I also
Is this
accidentally.
another one of Matt's shitting his pants after IPA episode?
No, this is what Matt does when you go on vacations with him, which is why we haven't been on one in a while. He gets hammered drunk and then passes out within 4 seconds and then snores all night. And then you're sitting there watching Sports Center trying to crank the old HOG, and it's just like, this is weird.
Yeah,
Can't fall asleep.
SVP hasn't been able to get me hard ever since Stuart Scott, was on air. That was the team that did it for me. Or Linda Cohen.
There was always. I think that's like okay. So usually my big turn on is crossing guards. I drive by one every day, and I don't know, it just revs my engine.
Like the school?
Yeah.
People outside of the school?
They stand there.
They escort the children across the road?
But like, I feel like
nothing weird going on there. Don't delve into that. Matt gets turned on every time he goes
drive by a
school
school
crosswalk.
Yeah. I've had to start taking a different route to my office to not go within 300 feet of said school. But let me find
you're going to lose it. I thought you were going to lose it.
Any sports reporter in like that, if they're put into that situation, makes them way more attractive.
Yeah, like Tony Saragusa was fucking hot.
I thought, I was like Stuart Scott and that eye thing he had going on.
I love Tony Saragusa. That was with Kenny Albert and Daryl Johnston on the Fox crew. That was my favorite Fox. That was like my favorite football crew forever.
Isn't Saragusa
Kenny
dead?
Moose and Goose? Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, he was part of that. He was a D lineman for that Ravens in like 2000.
Yep, he won the Super Bowl there. He also did advertisement for the leak protector on the front of your underwear.
Yeah.
It was something guard. It was like the tagline was, "Are you a guard guy?" And it was for Matt. You should get that for shitting your pants. Just have a little guard.
Just go.
No, Matt's gonna start shoving
diapers.
wine corks up his ass.
Yeah,
and
just
hopefully it just dams it up.
I wear a diaper. I was gonna say, do you remember that Bismarck newscaster that got caught on a hot mic like before his first ever?
AJ Clemente. Yeah, I remember him, dude. His first words on broadcast television were "gay fucking shit." Now, given gay was the part of a last name that he was trying to pronounce, so he wasn't. But yeah, it was his very first words. I remember the lead anchor was Van Tu, and he was AJ Clemente. Yeah, I remember that. Sarah Schwartz was working the camera that night. She gave me all the hot deets. Like Monica Hannon had to come down mid-broadcast and fire him on air and apologize.
Dude, I thought I knew a lot about this. I thought I knew a lot about this situation. Kyle knew the camera person.
Yeah, dude. I texted Sarah that night. I knew that
he was on it.
She had a part-time job there. Yeah, she happened to be filming that night.
Man.
I remember Letterman had him do a top 10 list.
It's like the two moments in your life. It's like, where were you when 9/11 happened and when AJ Clemente
dropped the F-bomb?
Yeah.
Where were you when Andrew Luck retired from the NFL?
Chicago.
Yeah, I was also in Chicago. Do you know where you were when Andrew Luck retired?
No, I can't say.
But you know the news anchor from fucking 2005.
Yeah, but I mean, Andrew Luck.
What's AJ Clemente up to now?
He's
Probably selling real
dead.
estate.
Yeah, selling dead.
He just hung himself after that broadcast.
I was gonna say either that.
I remember
or
Good Morning America. No, the Today Show.
They interviewed him, didn't they?
They had
For
him
saying
do like
gay
the red
fucking
carpet. The red carpet. Ugh.
How'd you get your big break?
Hot mic? Is that why he was on there? Because
Yeah.
the hot mic?
Yeah, I was with. I forget.
When was this?
2008
or 9?
No, it was later because I was
If
in high
Sarah
school.
Schwartz
so
was working the
12
camera,
it was probably
She's gonna get some fucking
2013.
airtime.
Which I never thought we'd name drop SS twice on the show.
I don't even know what her name is now. I know she got
Do
married.
you ever
years back,
unfriend
but-
people because you think you don't know them on Facebook?
Yeah, 'cause
and it's like one of your
they don't have
cousins
their
got
maiden
married.
name, yeah.
I usually unfriend chicks when they get engaged. You know, it's just kind,
Yeah,
of,
dude.
It's kind of a rule.
I'll do that where it's like, oh, that girl's pretty attractive. You go on to her Instagram, you see a picture of the boy, and you're like, nah, never mind.
Yeah,
Lost
forget
another
it.
one.
That is tough.
I don't know. That's how I was dating a girl for a while. I met her years ago at a party, and then she just came up in my people you may know, but I creeped it for a second. I was like, doesn't look like she has a boyfriend. Asked her out. Went out for like 4 months. So, you know.
What other kind of girlfriends have you had, Huber?
I think I'm going to do a new bit about it tonight, but, you know, I don't have a lot of success with those, like the Tinder and the Bumble apps and whatnot, because it's only a 100-mile radius, and just anybody around here is just generally not going for this. So I found this other one called Field. It's F-E-E-L-D, and what intrigued me about that is that it was a 250-mile radius, and I'm only 200 miles from Winnipeg, so I met like 3 ladies from Canada. Yeah, 3 Manitoba mistresses.
Nice.
Yeah, so
So you have
super
to go to
nice.
Canada to get a prostitute?
Fuck off, prostitutes. No, Matt.
Hey,
They're
$20 is 20
beautiful
bucks.
ladies, man.
I once flew
Super
across
nice.
the country for an over-the-pants hand job.
What was his name?
Ronnie. Really nice guy.
Yeah, going through customs, you know, every time I want to go on a date, it's not like super convenient, but you make it work, you know. You work with what you
I
got.
saw this bit that if Russell Wilson throws 6 touchdown passes, some guy has to jerk off his coworker.
6
Like
in one
in one
game, I
game or
assume,
total?
Yeah.
No, like this coming game.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Imagine,
even
like,
6 in a season is
yeah.
kind of generous for that guy at this point. Last 2 seasons in Denver. Good.
How many times has a quarterback thrown for 6 or more touchdowns in a game?
That's happened a few times.
I
He's
mean-
going to have a handful of cock.
It was good, clean family fun.
Yeah. I love it when there's children around. You ever had a child at your comedy shows?
Yeah, I remember there was a literal baby in Hill City, South Dakota.
I think a baby's
Guys.
probably better because they can't fucking comprehend anything. but-
Yeah, I remember front row. There was a boy that was probably 10-ish, and his sister's probably about high school, and they were together as a family in Huron, South Dakota, and they loved it. You know, particularly the dick jokes. I mean, I could see he really wanted to laugh a lot harder, but you know, his mom's right beside him. What are you gonna do? So
Yeah.
good. But yeah, there's been kids at the show before.
Got to throttle back a little bit. on the-
Yeah, it's always fun, like seeing you're like, oh, my friend's parents are here, and like the first joke I say is like, I wish I was a cow so I could just get tugged off all day.
How would you tug off a cow when they have a vagina?
I initially thought the cows got jerked off all day.
It's a misunderstanding. He had to clear it.
Hill City, South Dakota. One time I went on the Alpine slides there and got fucking ejected from them. I bled so much.
Is that the one where you have like the joystick in
Yeah.
between your legs? Okay, so I did that as a kid in the Black Hills. Yeah.
It was probably the same one.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If you get going too fast, you just get hucked.
We went to Cosmo's Cabins while we were there too. That's a fun little tourist trap. But I played Hill City, South Dakota. That was in November of 2020. Drew Hare gave me that featured spot, and a guy named Michael Harrison was closing. But I remember going down there, going south of Flasher. We were going to cut through the U.S. highway that goes along the reservation. And we get there, and they have, BIA set up a checkpoint. They're like, oh, yeah, due to COVID, we're not letting any non-tribal through. It's like, you guys could have put that up 40 miles ago before we started going down the only highway with nothing else around.
That's a huge reservation too, so you had to like drive like a 4-hour detour.
Well, a buddy of mine ran into the same issue, and they were hauling cattle to do a sale. So, I mean, they had a timetable to keep with. But like classic North Dakota, they knew a rancher down there that let them use a section line that was private road, and so we were able to cut through that way. But yeah, it was in November 2020 we did that show, and we're looking at, like a map of the world and anything that had like entertainment open at that point during the pandemic. It's like we were probably one of 10 stand-up shows on the planet that night.
Oh, yeah.
Were they just like, fuck it, let's do it?
South Dakota, they didn't shut down
That's
anything.
true, that is
Some
true.
guys I know in LA, they would try to do like parking lot parties, but it'd be like, we're not technically, if you want to give me $20, you can give it. And like, they would be like, yeah, one guy went, and then there was a fleet of like cop cars, SWAT team, like,
because that's the most dangerous thing going on in Los Angeles.
yeah, just guys just heroin overdosing. That's fine. This is not.
Shitting on public sidewalks is fine.
Dude, I saw someone in San Francisco behind the Ghirardelli chocolate factory fucking have epic diarrhea next to a dumpster.
Their little backdoor chocolate factory.
Yeah. Good euphemism.
Yeah, I mean, he Ghirardelli'd out his asshole. Now I know why the chocolate tastes so good.
That's just ridiculous.
Homeless people in Winnipeg are terrifying. I don't know.
How are
Dude,
you
the ones
homeless in
in-
Canada? Don't they just give you everything for free?
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that, but no, I mean, they're just terrifying, man. I mean, they don't ask you for change. Like, they demand it,
Yeah,
It's-
well, the ones in downtown Bismarck bark at you. But that's if you make eye contact.
Jordan, that was probably a dog.
Oh, yeah, I was pretty wasted that night.
When I was driving down here, there was just a dog running in the middle of the street, and like people were just like, "Is anyone going to do anything about it?"
No. Why would we,
Another thing I saw on my way down here was this Asian on a bird scooter carrying what looked like all of his groceries for the month. He had a
It
case
was
of-
for the restaurant, actually. It was to actually stock
yeah,
the
it's
buffet.
China Gardens, And you got a case of Barks root beer on the floor, but that just kept falling off. And I was like, it would be faster if you just walked.
China Garden's good as hell.
Oh, man.
Are they still only doing takeout? What? I don't understand that.
When my sister worked there, they had a guy. So there's two Chinese languages. There's Mandarin, and then there's the other one. And they hired a cook who spoke the other one. And then the owner spoke Mandarin, and they would just scream at each other, and neither of them knew what they were saying.
I mean, we've talked about it before, doing the power move of switching languages mid-argument.
Yeah.
Just to throw your opponent off their scent.
Yeah, I was at a Cubs game, and some guy just got so mad at a Cubs player, and as he's getting thrown out, he just changed dialects.
You switch over to Spanish?
Yeah.
Or- okay.
He also wore a Dodgers jersey to a Cubs Nationals game, so...
Or as he calls them, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
It's crazy how, how a lot of Hispanic Mexican Americans just cheer for the Dodgers, have never been to California. It's like, because I've done shows down in Texas, Arizona, Oklahoma and stuff, but, let's make conversation, guys at bars, wearing the LA Dodgers hat, and come to find out, not a fan of the team, have never been to California. It's just
Oh, it's like girls that wear Yankees hats.
Yeah.
Like, name one fucking player, and I will shoot myself in the head right now.
I mean, she can play for the Yankees if she wants to.
It's always someone so attractive that no one questions it, except for me, because I have no chance with her at all.
They're like, I'm at the gym, and it's like, I'm in my bed pleasuring myself,
Yeah.
so we're both right where we need to be.
Going through Instagram, and you're like, people are at the gym, bettering myself today. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just covered in Cheez-Its laying in my bed.
I've never broadcast myself going to the gym. I've gone to the gym at least 3 times a week for 12 years. Never have felt that I need to mention it to anyone, post about it. My ass looks good in yoga pants, though. But, I mean...
And you do know that because you tried on yoga pants?
Oh, yeah, I've tried them on, man.
I'm not even going to go there. Let's change the subject. You said you did comedy down in Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona.
Yeah.
What's the farthest away from, let's say, Bismarck show you've had, or where have you been?
Amarillo, Texas.
How'd you get that gig?
People book comedy shows down there, and I just hit them up and charmed them, and they gave me a gig, yeah.
It's nice to have a little charm in the back pocket, huh?
Yeah, I did a run this
Matt
past...
has none.
Oh, yeah, I'm Tommy Boy. No. Okie dokie then. Just stand up.
Yeah,
Let me tell you why I suck as a salesman.
Actually, I think I got a good one around here somewhere. Don't mind me and my fucking...
Well, I did Springdale, Arkansas last year.
I'm sorry, what'd you do?
I just went to Springdale, Arkansas, Sioux City, Iowa. I did actually probably my favorite show I ever did was at the Duncan Theater it was in Oklahoma. Gosh, it was by Stillwater, Cushing, Oklahoma. Yeah, that was
The Duncan Theater?
in Cushing, Oklahoma.
Where
yeah,
does that sit?
Where
For
did-
capacity?
It's a historic theater, probably about 150 years old, and the seating is probably because there's a balcony in there.
Yeah.
You could probably pack in like 400, and we had like 200, 250 that night.
Yeah.
So it was with Alex Just who booked
I
that
saw him.
gig. And
Yeah, I know who that is.
yeah, we did a show here at Laughing
Yeah.
Sun. I think you guys
Yeah,
were
we
at
were
that
here.
one. Yeah, so we did a run.
And look at
together.
us now. We're coming full circle here. That's
Jordan
cool.
and I might be the first comedians ever to start a podcast and then start doing comedy and not the other way around.
We're also probably the rare comedians who the first time we ever took the stage was at a show. We didn't like do an open mic or
Yeah.
anything. We just put on our own show.
Oh, is it so? The first time you guys tried doing stand up was that with Rittenhouse on the show?
That was,
That was
second.
like
It was second
one, yeah.
show.
Well,
Okay.
I think we hit an open mic and then we drove to Fargo to hit an open mic to like get some more reps. But
Yeah.
our first ever show, the lineup was Matt and then me.
We had a live auction at the end of it because that's what you do at comedy shows.
Matt, it was a fundraiser, the first one. So
Were you
gave a lot
selling
of money to
like so?
charity.
You're selling like autographed Darren Erstead cards or what?
I got a couple.
I think
Yeah, I have-
actually,
Dude,
Were you at Darren Erstead Day after he won the championship in 2002 to get his autograph? and shit?
Nope. I got Kirby
Yeah.
Puckett's autograph.
and then he died.
Yeah. Actually, he was kind of a dickhead, so I'm glad he's dead.
But I remember 2002 getting to stay up late to watch Erstead win the World Series, and I remember my dad
Getting
getting
to
us out
stay
of
up late.
what?
It was a school night, wasn't it?
Well, it was a 7 game, or I think it went 6 games. I think the Angels won in 6.
Over the Cardinal, or who did they play?
No, they won. God, who did they beat again?
The Dolphins. I mean,
I'm trying to remember
Marlins?
who they beat again.
Could have been. The Marlins are good around.
They were good around that time, but I forget who they beat. I know Erstead caught the final out, but
Oh yeah.
I know my dad got me and my brother up like 6 in the morning or whatever it was to go out to Jamestown for.
Is that why you moved to Jamestown?
Yeah, because of Darren Erstead. I still have the autographed T-shirt in baseball. They're up in my apartment.
the Louis
in
L'Amour
Jamestown.
Museum. It's just too much to pass up.
We should take down that giant buffalo and put up a gigantic Darren Erstead.
Yes,
Just
they
with
used
a
to have the
huge
billboard.
lipper.
Home of the world's largest Darren Erstead. Home of the only Darren Erstead.
That's like a bunch of stuff around the states, like steel. It's like home of the world's largest sandhill crane. It's like, is anybody trying to fucking beat you? It's like,
You know, up
such a
until
specific
2 months
animal.
ago, I
Well,
thought
Matt's about to say buckle it.
up until 2 months ago, I thought the Sandhill crane was like a crane, like the construction equipment.
Yeah,
It just broke down and they left it.
Yeah. I know. I thought there was like a big sandhill
like
mine
a
or something.
sandhill crane LLC.
Like a crane on top of a sandhill?
Yeah,
Not
and
an
they're
animal?
just like
They were
digging-
mining sandhill.
Yeah, I thought it was like one of those cranes, like that kids have in playgrounds.
An
where they-
erector set? You
Yeah.
thought a sandhill crane was an erector set?
Is that what you call them?
What? It's a thing from the 70s.
I did a couple erector sets last night.
3 sets of 10.
Pleasure myself, weep and repeat.
Yeah, do that 10 times. Should be able to fall asleep.
When did you stop drinking?
3-4 years ago, something like that. So
I was
yeah,
thinking
don't
about doing it.
I don't do AA or anything like that.
Oh.
I just quit drinking. So
I mean, I'm not. I said I thought about it. It's probably never going to happen, but it's kind of my identity.
other,
Yeah,
there's
it's what
nothing,
I do.
nothing sad about that.
It's the only thing I'm really good at.
But yeah, well, I got arrested once. I had just moved in. It was old house that turned into a threeplex, so like 2 on the main level, 1 up top, and I had just moved in there, and I was walking home from Joe Black's or whatever, and I was blacked the hell out. Very common of Joe Black's, and I actually got 3 soft shells from Red Pepper on my way home. I live right by
Oh, that
it.
didn't do the trick.
No, I don't even remember. I don't even remember getting them, and don't even remember walking into my neighbor's house. I didn't break in; the door was open, and I just it was
So technically, it's not breaking and entering. You just entered.
It was
Yeah,
it was
an E.
criminal trespass was the charge, and I was eating tacos at his card table at like 2 a.m. blacked out, and then he started screaming at me, and that's when I came to, and I wasn't coherent. I was able to get my name out clearly according to the police report, but then I ran outside, and he had called the cops, and it was a misunderstanding. He didn't press charges, but the state did anyway.
He should have locked his door. It's on. If anything, they should charge him.
The guy's like,
being an
I'm not
idiot."
I'm not going to press charges. And the state just looked at Kyle and they're like,
fuck you.
don't worry about this one.
Hold my beer.
Yeah. Turns out I would have gotten in less trouble if the guy actually pressed charges.
But I think that was like 7 years ago or something like that. And then the last time I drank, like 3 or 4 years ago, whatever it was, I blacked. It was weird. The last thing I remember, I was out with Josh DeLay and Chase Rader
Nice.
after an open mic, and I blacked out at like 11 p.m. and I didn't come to until like 3 in the morning with nothing in between. It was the craziest blackout I ever had. But when I came to, I had dropped my keys. Probably the best thing I could have done because I couldn't get into my vehicle. I dropped those in the bar, and then I ended up behind the comedy club where we were earlier that night, and it was like, I don't know, 6 degrees out or whatever, and just frostbite on my feet, and it was like, so I just started screaming for help. But they put me in a homeless shelter that night, and then got my vehicle the next day. And after that, I figured you should probably just not do that again. So
It'd be funny if they put you in a homeless shelter and you're just like, this isn't half bad. Just stayed for a couple months.
He's
Stayed
like
till a
hanging
couple
up
months.
posters.
So you're like, Kyle, you can't do that. He's like, oh, don't worry, I'll take it down and then I'll put it back up tomorrow.
That's wild. You didn't get You did get frostbite.
yeah, I got frostbite on my feet. Yeah.
Was it the frostbite or the homeless shelter that put you over the fence of maybe I don't need to drink anymore?
Probably the frostbite.
Okay.
And and I even because everything was numb, I pissed my pants as well, which
Done it.
never happens drinking, but because it was numb, I couldn't feel anything. So
Did you go to the hospital for this?
No.
Is this a self-diagnosis?
One time I pissed
Well, it
my
was
pants.
frostbite. I mean, it wasn't to the point where skin was turning black. I mean, it wasn't
Okay,
that severe,
yeah.
but it was frostbite, and I had massive blisters. I remember it a big pool of fluid on the bottom of my foot, and I had to pierce them open with
a lot of foam.
Yeah. I had to pierce them open with a pocket knife to drain them as they kept healing, and it wasn't even pus
gone
or
to med
blood or
school.
anything like that.
Yeah,
It
we
was
should have
just,
recorded this in the bathroom
water.
so I could just puke directly to the toilet.
I was going to say, one time I pissed my bed and I went to wash my sheet and I held the sheet up in the light and there was literally just this 3-foot circle that was just a huge piss stain. It was like the Waterboy's sheets when his mom hangs them outside.
There's that great Zach Galifianakis joke where he goes, have you ever been so drunk that you pee your bed? And I don't mean you're laying there peeing. I mean you're just standing over your bed pissing on it.
I've done it both ways.
Well, I used to get hammered out at Mary all the time. I never attended school there, but
It's not a real school.
I partied at those dorms a lot. It was and I actually had a couple buddies in St. Joe's that drank their faces off, which is that's the future priest dorm, which is all male thing.
Yeah.
And my buddy Punzer, if you're watching, Punzer, put this on an Instagram reel so I can give my buddy a shout out. But
Got that, man?
yeah, I remember
His name's Punter.
Punzer.
Oh.
That's his last name. Punzer Lamar is what we all called him. He loved listening to Kendrick, and
He's probably the whitest dude ever.
he's from Cali, so he talks.
He's
like
a priest
black
now?
dude. No, not at all.
On a scale of 1 to
But
Jewish.
he opened up a sock drawer and pissed in it, thinking it was a toilet. Remember that?
The buddy I went to in Vegas, he's now the athletic director for Killdeer. He got up in the middle of the night and just went and propped his hand up against the wall, and we're like, all just kind of like waiting for what's gonna happen.
Like, no.
Last night there, we were leaving Vegas, and I had 2 pairs of shoes down there, and I looked at one, and they were just fucking gross, and I just threw them in the garbage.
Pukey?
No, they just smelled like shit. And I literally just looked at them, threw them in the bathroom garbage in the hotel room, and walked out.
Well, I remember throwing away clothes when I was in high school, getting hammered at the Red River Inn.
Huber, that was
during state basketball.
That was one of the wildest things I've ever seen.
Didn't you fall asleep in a bathtub in a room that was under construction?
No, it wasn't under construction, but I did fall asleep in a bath. Well, they put me in the bathtub because I had already puked on the bedspread, and then I puked more in the bathtub. Yeah.
We essentially threw Kyle in the tub, and then he had a nice old shower of his own vomit. And
so, yeah.
Needless to say, you couldn't use that bathroom, and next day we had to get him cleaned up and manageable. But no, that hotel room. So Matt and I are seniors in high school.
Red River Inn. If you're looking for sponsorship on the podcast,
yeah.
Red River Inn.
I mean, you threw up in the bathtub, and it made the hotel nicer. So.
Well, I remember I bought you a case of beer, so I kind of felt
Ham's
responsible.
premium, baby.
Yeah, I felt responsible a little bit, but
well,
were you, a sophomore? Because we were seniors.
Yeah, I was a sophomore. Yes, I was 16 or 15.
Love it, and I was like, this guy wants to party. Let's party. But we had this hotel room at the gay hotel. The gay bar is located in this hotel. Yeah. And we found that out after a couple dudes plugged us. But no, you know how there's the doors in between the 2 rooms. So if you have a big family, you just get the rooms next to each other, and you can have that doorway in between the rooms. Mm-hmm. Like in Rookie of the Year, homeboy gets stuck in it on the road trip. Well, I don't know what happened, but we just got curious, because usually you can open your side, and there's another door. So once somebody opened it, and it opened up to another room that was under construction. Do you remember this?
I never went in that room because I wasn't actually staying at that. I wasn't supposed to be staying at that hotel. Yeah. But I
never went in that room. I was busy puking on literally everything else.
Yeah, like the walls were kind of stripped and the floor was stripped, and there was happened to be a couch and a bunch of rolled up carpet, but it wasn't finished or anything.
I remember putting a damp washcloth with a bungee cord over the smoke detector because we had a hookah going in the room.
Oh yeah, I remember getting a hand job in the room upstairs from somebody else, and then had to act like I didn't get a hand job.
Well,
one of the best acting.
But honestly, though,
Russell Wilson threw 6 touchdowns.
I might have been okay. I might have not puked had I not gone out to whoever's vehicle it was, but I started taking pulls of Kharkov and smoking weed with Ollie and the Mathern boys.
Dude, Adam Mathern comes up on this podcast entirely too much.
I love Mathern. I love Alex
cut
and
it
Adam.
back on his name.
Okay, Rookie of the Year. Did you know that the guy
movie?
that gets stuck in the door, the reason he kept getting stuck places is because he was the director on the film.
Daniel Stern.
And he needed more time to do director things, so he just made his character get stuck so he didn't have to film as much.
I haven't seen that movie.
I watch it once a year.
Little Big League's a better movie.
It's debatable.
I don't know. I know the voice of John Gordon's in that movie, which I always appreciate.
What's your favorite movie? You a movie guy?
Have you seen Battleship?
I watch a lot more animation and cartoons.
Yeah, you're creating something right now. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's an animated film. It's called Ashley Farms. I wrote the original script, and then Nathan Folsabach rewrote it and punched it up.
He threw it away and just started fresh.
He used the names, changed everything else.
Yeah, so I have about half of the drawings done. But Marlon Wells, we recorded all the audio for it, and he's engineering the audio. I mean, he's a radio producer for years, so he knows. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. And I was hoping to have it done by January, February, but I think it's probably going to take a little bit longer for Marlon to have the audio perfect because it's a 12-minute piece, so it's quite a bit of time. But yeah, that's in the works right now.
Is that your first time doing something like that?
Yeah, your first time making the animated film, I guess.
Animation
plan?
bananas.
So, what?
Like animation, like claymation on Parks and Rec. He spent like 2 weeks doing it, and it's like a 6-second video, and
Yeah.
he's like, "That's it."
Yeah, the way I'm doing it is just, I drew all this stuff in Microsoft Paint, and it's just basic stop motion, just slide by slide, basic hand movements and mouth open, close, just to dub up with audio. But yeah, it'll be a fun project to tackle all of it once Marlon gets audio squared away, and I have a lot more drawing to do. I'm not even halfway done, and I probably real-time spent for 30 hours on Microsoft Paint or something like that. It's tedious.
You consider yourself an artist?
Sure. I guess by definition, comedians are artists, but
Yeah.
they were the only artists that don't want to be known as artists. So I'd rather just be called a
Comedians are like
or
artists
creator.
as like people that play pool or athletes.
Yeah. By the way, do you like Efren Reyes? You ever just watch pool highlights on YouTube, man? I spent hours.
No, I used to watch back when ESPN would have clips of it. There was one really good Asian chick.
Oh yeah, Black Widow.
Yeah.
I forget her real name, but they
Yeah.
called her Black Widow.
It's such a badass name.
But she
And you're
played
like, oh,
pool.
what do you do? I play pool.
And she wear 8-inch stilettos while she was playing pool.
and
too.
then just fucking.
No, thank you. I quit chewing tobacco about 2-3 years ago, something like that. I chewed Grizzly Wintergreen for 10 years, 16 to 26. So that was way harder than just not drinking beer. But it was only really hard for 3 days, to be honest. Just after I got past the third day. It was
Once the nicotine finally gets out of the system and the quits withdrawing for the nick.
I love that people that come out, they're like, studies show alcohol is harder to quit than heroin. And it's like, first off, no.
It's easier to get, I
Yeah.
guess? But I don't know.
I saw Anchorman 2, and it's like, it's sweeping the nation. Let me tell you why everyone's smoking crack. So we actually have some crack here, and in the back, the Sarah Schwartz is like, don't smoke crack.
This is going to be the end of the podcast.
Yeah,
She's
Just dropping too many names.
yeah.
Quit
Whatever.
talking about me and my part-time camera gig where I caught a guy on a hot mic.
Which actually springboarded his career into killing himself. But
Matt and I have hot mics every week, and we say some pretty ridiculous shit. Nobody's calling.
it's the best case that happens. I don't know.
You guys should honestly have AJ Clemente on the podcast.
What's he up to these days? Selling real estate?
I was thinking that he was selling
Insurance?
prosthetic limbs or something weird like that. It just
Well,
has
he couldn't do something that honorable,
he just has a
actually helping.
suitcase full of hands.
We should, though. But we have you here.
Yeah.
You here now. You excited for the show tonight?
Yeah, sure. I'm here anyway. Might as well try.
Oh, my God. That's not the answer I was looking for.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. It's just who's going to be front row. Just you guys remember that time we ran a train on Miss Colley junior year?
Dude,
That was hot,
I wasn't
dude.
there, but you guys must have. Jesus Christ.
I will refrain comment.
I was giving her my square root.
Oh,
my God.
Matt and I took summer school at a different school to avoid her.
Dude, and our teacher that we had,
I wasn't smart enough to take that level of math, so I was good.
you couldn't get to
Geometry.
geometry.
Oh, is that what well, never mind then.
That's
Probably
like
had
a-
an applied calculus class
No,
or
she
something. but-
actually she was only there my freshman year, so
Kyle took math for retards all 4 years.
I took pre-algebra, algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2.
I did pre-algebra, algebra, back to pre-algebra, and then trig.
Geometry is the only one I didn't struggle with. That was something visual.
Yeah, you were banging the teacher.
That's the only one I didn't struggle with. It was visual. It's like, yes, we know what autism is.
I'm a visual learner. It's like, that's a weird way to explain how you have autism.
Yeah, I'm a visual learner. It's just a weird way to say you're not smart. I learned better by doing. Okay, well, you've been doing it for a long time, and you still fucking suck.
It's like, what are you going to be for Halloween? Oh, I'm going to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. It's like, that's a weird way to say you're a huge whore.
Jordan said that to a girl last night, and she literally showed a picture of on her phone. She's like, this is the last thing I bought off Amazon, and it was like 20 minutes ago. Ordered a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
Yeah, and then I roasted her in front of an entire audience.
I remember my friend Peyton cut this up for another IG clip. Peyton,
Matt, you got that?
on?
Yeah.
We got
I got Punter and Leighton.
but she's a super cool chick. I crash at her house in Grand Forks all the time. 519 Cambridge Street. What's up? But
You have a memory on you that is
Not
unmatched.
only are you saying names, I love how you didn't say that person's last name, but you did give their home address.
it's a college house. Like somebody new is in it every year.
If you take something, the value.
Well, I
goes
remember
up.
Maddie that lived upstairs. Her room was the attic, and the guy that lived in there beforehand killed himself, and they had
Lucky guy.
and there was like this little part of the wall. It was a really old house that he opened up. It was like a venting or whatever, but they left a shrine in there that was, the centerpiece was a bong with like his name and a picture and like a wreath around it. And
So you did like the motorcycle accident thing
Yeah.
where they have wreaths on the side of the road, but they just put a bong where this guy hung himself.
But I was saying though, my friend Peyton, she'd always make fun of the girls dressing up like sluts for Halloween. And I said, you should be a slutty turd, a naughty poop. And
Bong! It's for my schlong!
but she wore like a V-neck brown T-shirt and then put on brown lipstick and sort of smeared. Yeah, it was funny. She was a naughty turd.
She went in blackface. Is what you're saying? I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Matt likes to try that every once in a while. He gets close. Rubbing a little oil on the cheeks. He wants to look like a coal miner.
Michael, did you ever live up in Grand Forks? I mean, I know I saw you
did.
several times. Did you live at Winbauer's house on University?
I never lived at that house. I
Okay.
think my house, now that you say specific addresses, I think my college house is 1702 2nd Avenue North.
2nd Avenue North.
And it looked like a deli. It was green.
Oh, sure. So that was towards
It
like
was an operating deli on one side.
It was in between campus and downtown.
in downtown. Yeah.
Downtown.
I actually graduated from UND. Got a bachelor's degree and everything. Yeah.
I forget the address I lived on, but I think I paid like $400 a month or something for it. But that was the place where I walked into my neighbor's house and got a criminal trespass. But
Classic.
where I parked my car was the tracks, and it was
on the train tracks.
Yeah, it was like a gravel lot for like 20 feet, and then just the tracks, and there wasn't a railroad crossing arm that went down that intersection. So every time it rolled through, just
Yeah.
just rattling the whole fucking house. Sometimes it come through at like 2 a.m. and shit. It's like, oh my god.
No, college is great. One time I lived in.
I never went to college. By the way.
For me, college was great. Yeah. Grand Forks is. I lived in a studio room that had no windows. Huge fire hazard.
Did you have roommates or live by yourself?
No, I just moved in with some buddies. I was like, hey, you know that empty room with the French doors right next to the living room? That's where I'm gonna crank it.
I'm gonna use this as my pee corner.
First house I ever moved out into, it was on the corner of 13th Street and Porter Avenue by St. Anne Church in Bismarck, and Bronte Liggins slept on our couch for $150 a month. He had the couch.
That's not bad for a couch.
Yeah, when we had a guy stay with us in my college house for the summer, and he paid $100 a month to sleep on a futon that you had to climb over the furnace to get onto. And it was right outside my room, so it was just fucking me pooping myself all the time. And
This is a reoccurring thing with you, man. You're like, I'm honestly worried. Like, do you have like early onset colon cancer or
I
something?
have early onset.
I think Matt's just a fan of toilet talk and has a poor diet.
He has a poo-poo fetish.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, but
You ever lay a turd on a chick?
No, but I missed my toilet one time.
That's almost the same thing.
You've ever have to poop so bad?
okay, we're gonna stop right there. Should we wrap up the show?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
It's your show.
Kyle, are you satisfied with your time on No Brains, No Headache podcast?
Yeah, dude. It was great, and rest in peace, AJ Clemente.
Yeah. Shout out Punter and Leighton.
He would roll over in his grave.
Love you, Sarah Schwartz.
Yeah, Matt's got some cutting of clips to do, so he's probably going to be busy
I'm
with
just going to
that.
be tagging everyone.
Sarah's gonna love being in this, dude.
Sarah's not. She's going to slap us with an injunction that says, keep my name out of your whore mouths.
The last thing I think I texted her was, I just signed up for anthropology class, and my next text was, what is anthropology?
Well, that's our show, episode 222, No Brains, No Headache podcast. We're here recording at Laughing Sun Brewery, so thank you so much for them for having us, keeping us nice and hydrated. Got a couple athletics over here. Matt's got the Tums. So, yeah, thank you for tuning in, watching on YouTube. That's just the way to go. Matt, how can our listeners get more involved?
Follow us on social media. Look up No Brains, No Headache, and find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. And then you can leave us a review on iTunes. And if you really want to, go on Spotify and leave us a 5-star review.
Got any upcoming shows you want to plug?
I'm doing Bowdoin, North Dakota tomorrow night. I'm doing Woolies in Jamestown like Thursday, November 11th or some shit. I'm doing Williston the next night. But if you want to follow me, you can find me on Instagram. I'm at Nefla. That's at KNOEPHLA. And I post shows there.
Dude, you squatted on something.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
Yeah, I was surprised that handle wasn't taken.
Yeah, I squatted on Sky Mall on Truth Social. So if that ever comes back and Truth Social does something good,
Matt's sitting on
I don't
a
know,
gold
man.
mine.
I think Trump's back on the X now, so I think Truth Social's. I think that's kind of defunct.
yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. Thanks again to Laughing Sun Brewery for having us. That's episode 222. We'll see you next week for episode 223. Thank you so much.
Lynx
for listening.
Game 4, our house, baby.
Sometimes when I puke, I shit. In comes a